The Draconian War fleet appeared in Earth's solar system on a Tuesday morning. 300 massive ships, each one the size of a small city, moved through space with deadly purpose. Inside the command vessel, Fleet Commander Thraxval looked at the blue planet ahead with cold satisfaction. This would be easy. His scouts had reported that these humans were weak, primitive creatures who had barely reached their own moon. "Prepare the invasion force," Thraxval ordered, his voice rumbling through the bridge. "We descend on the Korean peninsula. High population density. Good industrial capacity. We will show them draconian power." His tactical officer nodded. "The humans have nuclear weapons, Commander. Should we be concerned?" Thraxval laughed, a harsh sound that made the bridge crew flinch. "Nuclear weapons? We conquered 17 worlds, Krell. Civilizations far more advanced than these primitives. They have no plasma shields. No energy weapons. No faster-than-light travel. This planet will surrender before sunset." On Earth, Captain Dae-Young stood on the deck of his South Korean naval destroyer. He had served in the Navy for 15 years, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. The sky above Seoul had turned black. Hundreds of alien ships blocked out the sun. His radio crackled with panicked voices from command. "All units, hold position," came the order. "Do not engage. Repeat, do not engage." Dae-Young gripped the railing of his ship. Around him, his crew stood frozen, staring at the impossible sight above them. The alien ships were descending slowly, deliberately. They wanted humans to see them. To fear them. Then, the message came. It broadcast on every frequency, in every language on Earth. The voice was mechanical, translated by alien computers. "People of Earth. We are the Draconian Empire. We have conquered galaxies. You will surrender your planet within 24 hours. Resist, and we will destroy every city on your world. This is your only warning." In underground bunkers across the world, government leaders met in emergency sessions. The United Nations held a crisis meeting. Military commanders argued about response options. But, one conversation was happening in a secret facility beneath the mountains of South Korea. General Young-soo sat at a conference table with scientists, military officers, and volunteers. On the screen before them were detailed scans of the Draconian ships. Human satellites had been watching the aliens since they passed Mars. Earth had 3 weeks to prepare. "The integration protocol is ready," said Dr. Tae-Young, a thin woman with tired eyes. "We tested it successfully on the smaller subjects. It works. But, never on anything this size," argued Colonel Minho. "Never on intelligent beings. We don't know if it will work on these Draconians." "We don't have a choice," Young-soo replied quietly. "Conventional weapons won't work. They have shields that can stop our missiles. Armor that can withstand nuclear blasts. But, they don't have protection against what we've developed." A young soldier named Sang-min raised his hand. "General, sir. I volunteer. If the integration protocol needs human subjects, I'll do it." Young-soo looked at the young man. Sang-min was only 23 years old. He had family in Seoul. A mother. A younger sister. And, he was willing to give up his humanity to save them. "You understand what this means?" Young-soo asked. "If it works, you won't be entirely human anymore. You won't be entirely draconian. You'll be something new. Something we've never seen before." Sang-min nodded firmly. "I understand, sir. My sister is up there in Seoul. Under those ships. I'll become a monster if it means she lives." "You won't be a monster," Dr. Tae-Young said softly. "You'll be a bridge. A fusion. The first of a new kind." Young-soo stood. Then, we proceed. Send the message to the Draconians. Tell them we want to negotiate. Tell them to send representatives. And prepare the integration chambers. The Draconians, confident in their superiority, agreed to meet. Thraxval himself led a delegation of 500 warriors to the surface. They landed in a designated zone outside Sol, their weapons ready, their armor gleaming. These humans wish to surrender, Thraxval told his officers. We will accept their submission and begin processing the population for slave labor. But, when the Draconians entered the meeting facility, they found something unexpected. The room was large and empty except for strange pods lining the walls. Hundreds of them. And, standing in the center was General Young-Su, alone and unarmed. Welcome to Earth, Young-Su said calmly. We've prepared something special for you. Thraxval drew his weapon. You dare mock us, human? Where are your leaders? Where is your surrender? We don't surrender, Young-Su replied. We adapt. The doors sealed. Gas flooded the room. The Draconians tried to fight, but the sedative was designed specifically for their biology. Within minutes, every Draconian warrior collapsed. Young-Su, wearing a hidden breathing device, watched them fall. Begin the integration protocol, he said into his communicator. For the next 48 hours, the world held its breath. The Draconian fleet in orbit waited for their ground team to report. They waited for the surrender. But, no message came. In the underground facility, 500 integration chambers hummed with power. Inside each one, a Draconian warrior lay unconscious, connected to neural interfaces. And, standing beside each chamber was a human volunteer. Sang-Min stood beside the pod containing Thraxval himself. Dr. Taeyong moved through the facility, checking readings. The neural mapping is complete. The consciousness transfer is beginning. This is it. In 6 hours, we'll know if this works. The process was unprecedented. Human consciousness and Draconian biology, merging at the cellular and neural level. The volunteers had agreed to share their bodies, their minds, with the enemy. To become something new. To sacrifice their individual humanity for the survival of Earth. Captain Dae-Young, still on his ship, watched as the Draconian fleet began to show signs of alarm. Their ships moved erratically. They sent messages demanding the return of their ground forces. But, Earth remained silent. Then, exactly 48 hours after the integration protocol began, every Draconian ship in orbit went dark. Their systems shut down. Their weapons powered off. And 500,000 Draconian warriors, still aboard those ships, were transported to Earth by technology the aliens never knew humans possessed. The Draconians had brought their entire invasion force, expecting easy victory. They had no idea that Earth had been developing transporter technology, crude but functional, for this exact moment. In facilities across the planet, integration chambers activated. 500,000 human volunteers lay waiting. 500,000 Draconians were about to discover that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't bombs or bullets. It was the willingness to become one with the enemy. Sang-Min opened his eyes. He felt different. Stronger. His body was massive, scaled, powerful. But, his mind was still his own. No, that wasn't quite right. His mind was his own and someone else's. He could remember being human. But, he could also remember being Thraxval, the Draconian commander. He remembered conquering worlds. He remembered the pride of the Draconian Empire. And, he remembered his sister in soul. His human sister. His human life. He stood up from the integration chamber, his new Draconian body moving with perfect control. Around him, thousands of others were doing the same. Human minds and Draconian bodies. Two species, merged into one. General Young-Soo watched from the observation deck. "How do you feel?" he asked Sangmin. The creature that was both human and draconian looked at its hands, flexing claws that could tear through steel. When it spoke, the voice was deep and rumbling, but the words were purely human. "I feel ready, sir. Ready to protect Earth. All of us do." Young-Soo nodded. "Then, welcome to humanity's new defense force. Welcome to the future." Above Earth, the Draconian fleet floated empty and silent. 300 ships. 500,000 missing warriors. And not a single human casualty. When the Galactic Council sent scouts to investigate weeks later, they found only empty vessels and a message from Earth: the Draconians came to conquer. They chose to stay. The scouts reported back to the Council with confusion and fear. What had happened to the mighty Draconian Armada? Where were the warriors? And why were the humans so calm about it all? The Council demanded answers. They sent ambassadors. They threatened sanctions. But Earth simply smiled and said nothing. Because Earth knew something the galaxy was about to learn. Something that would change everything. The Draconians hadn't been destroyed. They had been transformed. And they were only the beginning. Ambassador Hyunwoo walked into the Galactic Council chamber for the first time in human history. The massive room could hold thousands of beings, and today it was filled with representatives from 47 different alien species. All of them wanted answers about the missing Draconians. Hyunwoo was a diplomat, trained in negotiation and peaceful resolution. But today he was also a liar. Earth needed time. Time to integrate the remaining Draconian warriors. Time to prepare for what might come next. So he would lie, and he would do it convincingly. Honorable members of the Council, Hyunwoo began, his voice calm despite the hundreds of alien eyes watching him. Earth stands ready to answer your questions. A massive insect-like creature stood up. This was Counselor Rethix of the Mantoid Collective. His voice buzzed angrily through the chamber's translation system. Human Ambassador, 3 weeks ago, the Draconian Empire sent their finest fleet to your world. 300 ships. 500,000 warriors. All of them vanished. Explain this. Hyunwoo kept his face neutral. The Draconians came to Earth with weapons. They threatened to destroy our cities. They demanded our surrender. We defended ourselves. Defended? Rethix's mandibles clicked together furiously. Your planet has no weapons capable of destroying a Draconian fleet. Our scans show no debris fields. No radiation. No signs of battle. Where are the bodies, human? Where is the evidence? Behind Hyunwoo stood Commander Subin, sent as military protection for the ambassador. She wore the dress uniform of Earth's new stellar defense force. Her face showed no emotion, but her eyes were sharp and watching. The Draconians are gone, Hyunwoo repeated. That is all we can tell you. The council erupted in angry voices. Species arguing in dozens of languages. The translation system struggled to keep up. Finally, an ancient crystalline being raised one appendage. The entire chamber fell silent instantly. This was High Counselor V.S. Tarn of the Ancient Concordance. His species had been traveling the stars for 10,000 years. When he spoke, everyone listened. Human, V.S. Tarn said slowly, each word deliberate. We have technologies you cannot imagine. Sensors that can detect a single organism from light years away. Yet somehow, 500,000 Draconian warriors have disappeared without trace. This is impossible unless you have technology far beyond what we believed. Hyunwoo met the ancient being's gaze. Perhaps your assumptions about humanity were wrong. On Earth, 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Tae-young walked through the integration facility. Row after row of chambers stretched into the distance. Most were now empty, their occupants awake and, in training. But, some still hummed with activity, finishing the final stages of integration. General Young-Soo joined her in the observation room. How many are fully integrated? 480,000, Tae-young replied, checking her data pad. The rest will be ready within 72 hours. The process is faster than we expected. The human volunteers and Draconian hosts are merging smoothly. Young-Soo watched through the glass as hundreds of integrated soldiers trained in a massive underground arena. They moved with Draconian strength and speed, but their tactics were purely human. Coordinated. Creative. Unpredictable. The Council is demanding a full investigation, Young-Soo said. They want to send inspectors to Earth. Search our facilities. Find the Draconians. Will we allow it? No. Young-Soo's voice was firm. We can't reveal the integration protocol yet. The galaxy isn't ready. They would see it as an abomination. A violation of natural law. Tae-young turned to face him. It is a violation of natural law, General. We're merging two different species at the consciousness level. Creating hybrid beings that have never existed before. Some would call that playing God. And, some would call it survival, Young-Soo replied. The Draconians came to enslave us. We gave them a choice, die or join us. They chose to join. Every single volunteer, human and Draconian, understood the cost. In the training arena below, Sang-min sparred with another integrated soldier. His Draconian body moved with impossible grace, but his fighting style was mixed martial arts, learned in Seoul before the integration. He could remember both lives clearly now. Being human. Being Draconian. Being both. Form up, shouted Colonel Min-ho, who now commanded the integrated forces. Min-ho had volunteered early, integrating with a Draconian tactical officer named Grath. We have 60 seconds to full combat ready. Move. 480,000 soldiers moved as one. The ground shook with their footsteps. This was Earth's secret. An army with Draconian strength and human determination. Beings who understood both peace and war. Both compassion and necessary violence. Back in the council chamber, the debate continued. Species argued about what action to take against Earth. Some wanted immediate military intervention. Others urged caution. We should send a probe fleet, suggested a representative from the Helix Dominion. Test the humans. See what they're capable of. Too dangerous, countered another voice. The Draconians were the finest warriors in known space. If Earth defeated them, we should negotiate, not attack. Rethix slammed multiple limbs on his podium. Enough discussion. I move for official investigation. Earth will allow Council inspectors full access to their planet, or face sanctions and possible military action. The vote was called. 39 species voted in favor. Only 8 voted against. Earth's fate was sealed. Hyun-woo received the news calmly. How long do we have before inspectors arrive? 30 standard days, Vestarn replied. Use that time wisely, human. The Council's patience has limits. Hyun-woo bowed respectfully and left the chamber. Subin followed close behind. Only when they were safely in their ship, heading back to Earth, did she speak. They're going to find out eventually. We can't hide 500,000 integrated soldiers forever. We don't need forever, Hyun-woo replied. We need 30 days. 30 days to finish the integration. 30 days to prepare for what comes next. And, what comes next? Hyun-woo pulled up a star map showing the approaching Council inspection fleet. 3 species volunteered to enforce the investigation. Mantoids, Helix, and the Stellar Commonwealth. 100 ships total. They expect us to surrender peacefully. Subin smiled grimly. They expected the Draconians to win too. On Earth, the final integration chambers completed their work. The last 20,000 Draconian warriors merged with human volunteers. Each one experienced the same strange awakening. The same flood of double memories. The same realization that they were no longer purely one species or the other. Lieutenant Boare had been a fighter pilot before volunteering. Now she stood 7 feet tall, covered in scales, with strength enough to bend steel. But, when she looked in the mirror, she still saw herself. Still saw the human woman who had grown up in Busan, who had dreamed of flying among the stars. "How do you feel?" asked Dr. Tae-young, monitoring her vital signs. "Strange," Boare admitted. "I remember being afraid of the Draconians when they first arrived. Now I remember being one of them. I remember thinking humans were weak prey. It's like having two different people in my head, except we're the same person now." "Any conflicts? Any mental instability?" Boare shook her head. "No, doctor. It's actually peaceful. The human part of me understands why we fought. The Draconian part respects the strength we showed. Together, we're something better than either part alone." Tae-young smiled. This was working even better than hoped. The integration protocol wasn't creating confused, unstable hybrids. It was creating unified beings with the best traits of both species. General Young-soo assembled all 500,000 integrated soldiers in a massive underground cavern. They stood in perfect formation, waiting for orders. "You are Earth's shield," Young-soo told them. "You volunteered to become something new, something unprecedented in galactic history. Human minds with draconian bodies. Two former enemies, merged into one unified force." The soldiers stood silent, listening. "In 30 days, the council will come demanding answers. They want to know what happened to the Draconians. We will show them. We will show them that Earth doesn't conquer its enemies. We integrate them. We make them part of us. And we become stronger for it." Sang-min, standing in the front rank, felt pride swell in his chest. His human heart and draconian strength working together. He looked around at his fellow soldiers. Koreans, Chinese, Americans, Russians, Europeans, Africans. Every nation had sent volunteers. Every volunteer had merged with a draconian warrior. They were Earth's future. The first generation of a new kind of being. When the council arrives, Young-soo continued, they will see draconian warriors fighting for Earth. They will be confused. Terrified. Good. Let them fear. Let them wonder. And, when they ask us how we did it, we will tell them the truth. "What truth is that, sir?" asked Colonel Minho. Young-soo's smile was cold and determined. "That humanity's greatest strength isn't weapons or technology. It's our ability to change. To adapt. To turn enemies into allies. The Draconians came to destroy us. Instead, they became us. And, together, we're unstoppable." The soldiers raised their weapons in salute. 500,000 voices, human and draconian, speaking as one. Ambassador Hyunwoo watched the ceremony via video feed from his office. Beside him, his assistant Ji-won looked worried. "Are we doing the right thing?" she asked quietly. "Merging species like this. Creating these hybrid beings. What if the council is right? What if this is wrong?" Hyunwoo thought about that for a long moment. "I don't know if it's right or wrong according to some universal moral law. But, I know it saved Earth. The Draconians would have killed billions. Instead, they're now part of humanity. They're protecting the same planet they came to conquer. And, the volunteers? The humans who gave up their bodies. They're still alive. Still conscious. Still themselves. Just, more than they were before. G1 nodded slowly, accepting this. The Council fleet will arrive in 30 days. What happens then? Hyunwoo pulled up tactical displays showing Earth's defenses. Integrated soldiers in hidden bases across the planet. New weapons combining human creativity with draconian technology. Defense satellites armed with systems the Council had never seen before. Then, we show the galaxy something new, Hyunwoo said. We show them what happens when humanity decides to evolve. The Council's enforcement fleet arrived exactly 30 days after the ultimatum. 100 warships from 3 different species dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. They moved in perfect formation, confident in their superiority. Commander G1 watched them approach from the bridge of the KRSS Indomitable, one of Earth's new warships. The ship looked similar to old human naval vessels, but that was deception. Inside, every system had been upgraded with draconian technology, then, improved by human engineers who thought in ways the Draconians never had. They're hailing us, Commander, reported Officer Haewon from the communications station. Put them through, G1 ordered, settling into her captain's chair. The screen flickered to life, showing a mantoid officer. His compound eyes glittered with bureaucratic satisfaction. This was Fleet Commander Raxtol, chosen by the Council to lead the enforcement action. Attention, primitive humans of Earth. I am Fleet Commander Raxtol of the Galactic Council Enforcement Fleet. You have been found in violation of Council law. You will immediately allow our inspection teams full access to your planet, or we will take it by force. G1 leaned forward slightly. This is Commander G1 of Earth's Stellar Defense Force. We decline your demand. Raxtol's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. You decline. You primitive creatures have no choice. We have 100 warships. You have, what, perhaps 10 of those crude vessels you call spacecraft. We have enough, G1 replied calmly. Then, you choose war. Raxtol's voice became formal, reading from some official script. By the authority of the Galactic Council, I hereby declare Earth in violation of Treaty 712. Your planet will be seized for investigation. Resistance will be met with appropriate force. G1 cut the transmission and opened a channel to General Young-Soo on Earth. Sir, they refuse to withdraw. Young-Soo's voice came back immediately. Expected. Show them what happened to the Draconians. Activate Echo Protocol. Across Earth's surface, hidden bunkers opened. What emerged made the enforcement fleet sensors scream with alarm. Thousands of Draconian shock troops poured out of underground facilities. They moved in perfect formation, taking up defensive positions around every major city. Their armor gleamed in the sunlight. Their weapons charged with deadly energy. On the flagship of the Mantoid contingent, Raxtol stared at his sensor readings in confusion. This is impossible. Those are Draconian warriors. What are they doing on Earth? His tactical officer was equally confused. Sir, we're reading 500,000 Draconian life signs. Full military formation. Combat ready. But, they're defending Earth's cities, not attacking them. Raxtol's mind raced through possibilities. Had Earth somehow captured the Draconians? Enslaved them? Used some kind of mind control? None of it made sense. Open fire on the Draconian positions, he ordered. Disable them if possible. We need prisoners for questioning. The Mantoid ships fired their plasma cannons at the Draconian forces below. But, the Draconians were ready. They moved with inhuman speed, dodging attacks that should have been impossible to avoid. And, when they returned fire, their accuracy was perfect. Lieutenant Minho led his unit of 50 integrated soldiers against a mantoid assault team that had landed outside Seoul. He moved with draconian speed and strength, but his tactics were pure human special forces training. His team split into 3 groups, flanking the mantoids, using terrain for cover in ways no pure draconian would have thought of. "Target their shields first," Minho ordered, his voice a deep draconian rumble but his words Korean military jargon. "Then, disable their weapons. No casualties if possible." His team moved like water, flowing around the mantoid positions. They struck with precision, overwhelming the aliens without killing them. Within minutes, 50 mantoid soldiers lay unconscious, their equipment disabled. Minho reported to command. "Sector 7 secured. No friendly casualties. 50 enemy combatants captured alive." All across Earth, similar reports flooded in. The integrated forces were dominating the battlefield. They had draconian bodies but human creativity. They fought with honor but also with cunning. The enforcement fleet's ground teams didn't stand a chance. In space, Commander G1 watched as the mantoid ships realized their ground forces were being systematically defeated. She opened a channel to the entire enemy fleet. "Council vessels, this is your final warning. Withdraw now, or we will disable your ships." A different voice answered this time. Commander Seojin of the Helix Dominion. Her species was known for their military prowess and strategic thinking. "Human commander, explain what we're seeing. Those are draconian warriors fighting for you. How is this possible?" "They chose to fight for us," G1 replied simply. "You've enslaved them. Used some kind of technology to control them." "No, Commander Seojin. We gave them a choice. Join us or die. They chose to live. And, in choosing life, they chose to become part of humanity." The Helix ships began moving into attack position. Seojin's voice was cold and determined. "Then, they are traitors to their species. And you are criminals. We will disable your planet's defenses and take both you and your draconian slaves into custody." "I tried to warn you," G1 said quietly. Then, she gave the order. "All ships, execute Echo Strike." The 10 Earth vessels in orbit suddenly split apart, revealing they were actually 30 vessels using holographic camouflage. And, from Earth's surface, another 40 ships launched into space. Ships built with combined human and draconian technology. The enforcement fleet found themselves facing an enemy that shouldn't exist. Ships that moved like draconian vessels but fought with human unpredictability. Weapons that combined both species' technologies in ways that created entirely new capabilities. The battle lasted exactly 17 minutes. Commander Seojin watched in horror as her proud fleet was systematically dismantled. Not destroyed. The Earth ships targeted engines, weapons, shield generators. They disabled every vessel with surgical precision, leaving the crews alive but helpless. Her own ship shuddered as Earth weapons tore through her defenses. Warning alarms blared. Emergency systems activated. But there was no escape. Within minutes, the Helix flagship was dead in space. G1's face appeared on Seojin's screen. The human woman looked tired but satisfied. "Commander Seojin, your fleet has been neutralized. No casualties on either side. We could have destroyed you, but we chose mercy." Seojin could barely speak through her shock and anger. You're using draconian warriors. You've enslaved an entire species. This is an abomination." "No, Commander. This is evolution." G1 gestured off-screen. "Would you like to speak to one of them? Perhaps hear from a draconian themselves about their choice?" Before Seojin could answer, another figure appeared on screen beside G1. A massive draconian warrior in full armor. But, when he spoke, something was different. Commander Seojin, I am Sangmin. I was born human in Seoul 23 years ago. I volunteered to integrate with Commander Thraxval of the Draconian Empire. We are now one being. Seojin stared. That's impossible. Species integration doesn't work like that. The mind rejects foreign consciousness. It's been tried before. It always fails. Sangmin removed his helmet. His face was draconian, scaled and alien, but his eyes held human warmth. It works when both parties want it to. I wanted to protect my family. Thraxval wanted to survive. Together, we found unity. You're lying. This is some trick. Mind control or brainwashing. I remember my mother's face, Sangmin said quietly. I remember learning to ride a bicycle in Busan when I was 6. I remember my first day of military training. And, I also remember conquering the world of Thalrix as Thraxval. I remember the pride of the Draconian Empire. Both sets of memories are real. Both are me. Another integrated soldier appeared on screen. Then, another. Korean faces in draconian bodies. Japanese volunteers. American soldiers. European scientists. Every nation on Earth had contributed volunteers. We are the integration, they said in unison. Human minds. Draconian strength. One unified being. Seojin felt something she rarely experienced. Fear. True, deep fear. Because if this was real, if Earth had actually succeeded in merging two species at the consciousness level, then, everything the Council knew about biology and evolution was wrong. What do you want? Seojin asked finally. Ji-won answered. We want to be left alone. We want the Council to accept that Earth defended itself using methods you don't understand. And, we want you to take a message back to your leaders. What message? That the Draconians came to conquer us. Instead, they became us. And, if the Council tries to threaten Earth again, the same thing will happen to them. The transmission ended. Seojin sat alone on her damaged bridge, surrounded by alarms and emergency lights. Around her, the rest of the enforcement fleet floated helpless in space. They had come expecting an easy victory over primitives. Instead, they had been utterly defeated by an enemy that should not exist. On Earth's surface, Lieutenant Minho and his unit helped the captured Mantoid soldiers to their feet. The aliens looked at their captors with confusion and terror. You're Draconians, one Mantoid said. Why are you serving humans? Minho considered how to answer. How to explain something that still felt strange even to him. We're not serving humans, he said finally. We are human. And, we're also Draconian. Both. Neither. Something new. That's impossible. Minho smiled, an expression that looked strange on his Draconian face. So was defeating your fleet. But, we did it anyway. General Young-soo addressed all 500,000 integrated soldiers via broadcast. They stood in formation across the planet, having just won Earth's first true interstellar war. You have proven what I always believed, Young-soo told them. That unity is stronger than purity. That adaptation beats tradition. That humanity's willingness to change is our greatest weapon. In orbit, Commander G1 began the process of repairing the damaged Council vessels. Earth would send them home alive, with their ships barely functional but capable of limping back to Council space. It was a message. A demonstration. Earth could have killed them all. Instead, Earth chose mercy. Because that's what humans did. Even when those humans were also draconian. Officer Haewon approached G1 on the bridge. Commander, we're receiving a priority transmission from Council space. It's High Counselor V.S. Tarn himself. G1 straightened her uniform. Put him through. The ancient crystalline being appeared on screen. For a long moment, he simply looked at G1 in silence. Your species has done something unprecedented, Vestarn said finally. Something that frightens the Council more than any weapon. You have proven that species can merge. Can become one. This changes everything we thought we knew about life in the galaxy. We did what we had to do to survive, G1 replied. Yes. And, now the question becomes, what will you do next? Will you force other species to integrate? Will you try to absorb the galaxy into your collective? G1 shook her head firmly. No, Counselor. Integration is a choice. It must always be a choice. We offered the Draconians life or death. They chose life. We'll offer the same to anyone who threatens us. But, we won't force it on peaceful species. Vestarn's ancient eyes seemed to see right through her. We shall see if you keep that promise, human. We shall see. News of Earth's victory spread through the Galactic Council like wildfire. 2 military forces had engaged Earth. The legendary Draconian Armada and the Council's own enforcement fleet. Both had been defeated. Not just defeated. Humiliated. Counselor Jinho stood before the full Council assembly for the second time. Earth's representative looked older now, tired from months of negotiation and argument. But, his voice remained steady and strong. Honorable members of the Council, you demanded to know what happened to the Draconians. I am here to tell you the truth. The chamber fell silent. 47 species waited to hear humanity's secret. We integrated them, Jinho said simply. We merged human consciousness with draconian biology. We created a new form of life that combines both species. The chamber erupted in chaos. Voices shouting in dozens of languages. Counselor Rethix was on his feet immediately. Biological integration is forbidden under Galactic Law Article 47. It's unnatural. It's an abomination. Species are meant to remain separate. Why? Jinho asked, his voice cutting through the noise. Why must species remain separate? Because you've always done it that way. Because change frightens you. Professor Nari appeared on the massive screen surrounding the council chamber. Behind her in the broadcast from Earth, integrated soldiers trained alongside human instructors. Draconian bodies moving with human coordination and creativity. Members of the council, I am Professor Nari, head of Earth's Integration Research Institute. What you're seeing is not slavery. Not mind control. It's voluntary merger at the consciousness level. Voluntary, scoffed the Helix representative. You gave them a choice between death and assimilation. That's not voluntary. That's coercion. They came to our world to conquer us, Nari replied calmly. To kill billions of humans and enslave the rest. We offered them another option. Join us. Become part of something greater than conquest. Every single Draconian chose integration over death. Captain Donghyun walked into the council chamber at that moment. A human consciousness in a massive Draconian body. He moved with perfect confidence, his footsteps echoing through the vast space. The council members recoiled. Some reached for weapons. Security forces moved to intercept. Stop, ordered High Counselor Vestarn, his ancient voice carrying absolute authority. Let him speak. Donghyun stood in the center of the chamber. 7 feet tall, covered in scales, claws that could tear through steel. But, his eyes held human warmth and intelligence. Honorable council members, I am Captain Donghyun. 3 months ago, I was fully human. A naval officer serving in South Korea. Then, the Draconians came. I volunteered for integration because I wanted to protect my family. You gave up your humanity, accused Rethix. You became a monster. Donghyun shook his head. No, counselor. I gained strength while keeping my humanity. The Draconian I merged with was named Krell. He was a warrior who had conquered 17 worlds. He came to Earth expecting another easy victory. And, now he's your slave. No. Donghyun's voice became firmer. We are one being. I remember being Donghyun, the human. I also remember being Krell, the Draconian. Both sets of memories are real. Both are me. I remember my mother's cooking. I also remember the taste of Thalric's battle rations. I remember falling in love with my wife. I also remember the pride of a Draconian warrior's first conquest. He paused, letting his words sink in. Krell and I made a choice. We chose to become something new. Something better than either of us was alone. A mantoid scientist stood up. The biological stress alone should kill you. Two consciousness cannot occupy one neural network. It's scientifically impossible. Professor Nari answered this. Impossible according to your understanding. But, Earth has always specialized in doing the impossible. We studied draconian neural structures. We developed technology to map human consciousness. And, we found a way to merge them at the quantum level. Show us your data, demanded the mantoid scientist. Let us examine your process. Absolutely not, Jinho said firmly. The integration protocol is Earth's sovereign technology. We will not share it. Not now. Perhaps not ever. Then, you admit it could be weaponized. Rethix buzzed angrily. You're creating soldiers. Building an army of these hybrid monsters. We're creating defenders, Donghyun corrected. Every integration was voluntary. Every human who gave their body knew the cost. Every Draconian who accepted the merger understood they would never be purely Draconian again. V.S. Tarn spoke again, his voice thoughtful. You have done something unprecedented in galactic history. You have proven that species can merge. Can become one. The implications are staggering. The implications are terrifying, added a representative from the Stellar Commonwealth. If Earth can integrate Draconians, what stops them from integrating other species? What stops them from absorbing the entire galaxy into some kind of collective? Jinho met the Commonwealth representative's eyes. Our morality stops us. Our humanity stops us. Integration is offered only to those who threaten Earth with violence. It is always a choice. Join us or face those who already made that choice. So you're saying any species that attacks Earth will be integrated? Asked V.S. Tarn. We're saying any species that attacks Earth should consider what happened to the Draconians very carefully before making that decision. In a private chamber, away from the main council meeting, several species met in secret. Representatives from the Mantoid Collective, Helix Dominion, and 3 other militaristic civilizations. This cannot stand, Rethix declared. Earth is too dangerous. They have proven they can defeat superior forces. They have technology we don't understand. And, they're creating hybrid soldiers that combine the best traits of multiple species. What do you propose? Asked the Helix commander. We already tried military action. It failed spectacularly. We need a coalition. Not just 3 species, but 10. 20. Enough firepower to overwhelm Earth before they can respond. And, if they integrate our warriors too, someone asked nervously. Rethix clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. Then, we don't send warriors. We send automated drones. Machines can't be integrated. And, we target Earth itself, not their military. Force them to surrender before they can deploy their integrated forces. It was a dark plan. A desperate plan. But, to these species, Earth represented an existential threat to the galactic order they had maintained for thousands of years. Back on Earth, General Young-Soo received intelligence about the secret meeting. Earth's new network of allies and informants within the Council was already paying dividends. They're planning a second attack, Young-Soo told his command staff. Automated drones. No biological warriors to integrate. They're learning. Commander Subin studied the tactical projections. How many ships are they gathering? Intelligence suggests 200 vessels minimum. Possibly 300. And, they'll target our cities directly, trying to force surrender through civilian casualties. Lieutenant Boare, now an integrated soldier and skilled pilot, spoke up. General, request permission to address the Council directly. I want to tell them my story. Young-Soo considered this. Boare had been one of the early volunteers. A fighter pilot with exceptional skills. Her integration with a Draconian navigator had created something unique. A being who could fly spacecraft with unprecedented precision. Why do you want to speak to the Council? Because I remember being afraid of them, Boare said quietly. When I was human, I was terrified of the Draconians. I had nightmares about them destroying Sol. But, after integration, I understand them. I remember Threx's fear too. His fear of failing his empire. His fear of being weak. And I want the Council to understand that integration isn't about conquest. It's about understanding. When you merge with someone, when you share their memories and consciousness, you can't hate them anymore. You understand them too completely. Young-Soo nodded slowly. Very well. I'll arrange for you to testify before the Council. 3 days later, Boare stood before the full Galactic Council. She wore a modified flight suit designed for her integrated body. Her draconian scales gleamed under the chamber's lights. Honorable Council members, my name is Boare. I was born in Busan 28 years ago. I became a fighter pilot at 22. I volunteered for integration when I was 27. She paused, gathering her thoughts. Before integration, I was afraid of the Draconians. They were monsters in my mind. Cruel conquerors who destroyed worlds for sport. But, after merging with Threx, a Draconian navigator, I learned the truth. What truth? Asked V.S. Tarn gently. That the Draconians were just as afraid as we were. Threx had spent his whole life in the military. He was trained from birth to conquer or die. He had no choice in his life. No freedom. Just orders and obedience. Boare's voice became stronger. When we merged, Threx experienced freedom for the first time. Human emotions. Human creativity. Human love. He cried, counselors. A Draconian warrior cried when he felt what it was like to be truly free. The chamber was completely silent now. And I experienced his strength. His discipline. His honor. The Draconians aren't monsters. They're soldiers trapped in an empire that values only conquest. Integration gave Threx freedom. It gave me strength. Together, we're more than either of us could have been alone. A young mantoid counselor stood up. Are you saying the Draconians wanted to be conquered? I'm saying they wanted a choice, Boare replied. For the first time in their lives, they had a real choice. Join humanity or die. And, in joining us, they didn't lose themselves. They gained something they never had before. Purpose beyond conquest. Jin-Ho watched the council's reaction carefully. Some members looked thoughtful. Others angry or frightened. But, he could see the seeds of doubt taking root. Perhaps Earth wouldn't need to fight another war. Perhaps the council could be convinced that integration was evolution, not conquest. Later that night, General Young-Soo received a private communication from V.S. Tarn. General, I have lived for 3,000 of your years. I have seen civilizations rise and fall. I have witnessed countless wars and peace treaties. But, I have never seen what you have created. Is that admiration or fear, High Counselor? Both, V.S. Tarn admitted. You have proven that species can unite at the most fundamental level. This threatens everything the Council has built. Our entire system is based on species remaining separate. Distinct. But, you've shown that distinction is a choice, not a law of nature. What will the Council decide? I don't know. Some species will accept Earth's place in the galaxy. Others will see you as an existential threat. There may be more war coming. Young Su sighed. We don't want war, Counselor. We never did. We just want to live in peace. Then, I suggest you prepare for the opposite, V.S. Tarn said grimly. Because peace with Earth requires accepting change. And, most species would rather die than change. 3 years had passed since the Draconian Armada vanished on Earth. 3 years since the galaxy learned the truth about integration. The Galactic Council chamber looked different now. New species sat in seats that had been empty for centuries. And, Earth's delegation occupied a prominent position. Admiral Boare commanded the Terran Defense Fleet. 200 ships crewed by integrated soldiers and progressive humans who believed in Earth's vision. She stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching diplomatic vessels arrive for the most important vote in galactic history. How many species are voting for Earth's full membership? Asked her tactical officer, an integrated soldier named Ki Jun. Current count is 24 in favor, 23 against, Boare replied. It's going to be close. The vote wasn't just about Earth joining the Council. It was about officially recognizing the integration protocol as legal. As acceptable. As the future of galactic civilization. In the Council chamber, Dr. Eunji prepared her final presentation. She had spent 3 years refining the integration protocol, making it safer and more efficient. She had also gathered data from the thousands of integrated beings now living on Earth. Honorable Council members, Eunji began, her voice amplified through the chamber. I present the final report on the integration protocol. 3 years of study. 500,000 subjects. 0 failures. Images appeared on the massive screens. Integrated soldiers working alongside humans. Families where parents were integrated and children were purely human. Scientists of mixed consciousness making discoveries that neither species could have achieved alone. The integration success rate is 100%, Eunji continued. No mental instability. No physical rejection. No loss of consciousness or identity. Instead, we see enhancement. Integrated beings report feeling more complete, more capable, more at peace than they were as single-species consciousness. Counselor Kyung-soo, Earth's official representative, stood to address the chamber. The Council has a choice today. Accept that species can evolve through merger, or cling to old divisions that have caused 10,000 years of war. You speak of war, buzzed Rethix, still opposed to Earth. But, you created soldiers. Warriors designed for combat. We created defenders, Kyung-soo corrected. Every integrated being on Earth serves to protect our world. Not to conquer others. We have never, and will never, force integration on peaceful species. A small, crystalline being stood up. This was Representative Hannah from the planet Jeju. Her world had been attacked by pirates 3 months ago. Earth had responded, offering help. The Council should know, Hannah said quietly, that when pirates attacked my world, Earth came to our aid. They sent integrated soldiers who defeated the pirates without killing a single being. Then, Earth offered those pirates a choice. Face galactic justice or accept integration. And, what did they choose? Asked V.S. Tarn. 12 chose integration. 8 chose trial. Earth honored both choices. The integrated pirates are now serving as defenders of trade routes. The others are in prison. But, my point is this, Earth could have killed them all. Instead, they offered transformation. Redemption. Hope. The chamber murmured with discussion. This was new information to many council members. On Earth, deep in the Integration Research Center, Sangmin supervised the training of new integrated soldiers. Not from conquest, but from volunteers. Species from across the galaxy had begun requesting the protocol for their own people. How many applications this month? Sangmin asked Dr. Taeyong, who still ran the facility. 400, Taeyong replied. Mantoids, Helix, even 3 stellar Commonwealth citizens. All volunteers. All willing to merge with human consciousness. The galaxy is changing. The galaxy is evolving, Taeyong corrected. And, Earth is leading that evolution. Lieutenant Minho entered the training facility. He now commanded an entire division of integrated forces. Behind him walked 50 new recruits. Not Draconians this time, but Mantoids and Helix volunteers who had chosen integration. They're ready for neural mapping, Minho reported. All volunteers confirmed. All medical screenings complete. Sangmin looked at the recruits. Young beings from species that had once been enemies. Now they were choosing to become something new. Something unified. Welcome to humanity, Sangmin told them. Welcome to the future. In the council chamber, the debate reached its conclusion. VES Tarn called for the final vote. The question before the council, should Earth be granted full membership with all rights and privileges? Should the integration protocol be officially recognized as legal under galactic law? The voting was silent. Each species activating their terminal, casting their decision. The results appeared on the main screen. 24 votes in favor. 23 votes against. Earth had won by a single vote. Kyung-Soo stood, bowing respectfully to the council. On behalf of Earth and all integrated citizens, we thank the council for this recognition. We promise to use integration only with consent. To defend the weak. To transform enemies into allies. And to build a future where species boundaries become meaningless. But, not everyone celebrated. In the back chambers, Rethix met with his alliance of conservative species. This is a disaster, he buzzed angrily. Earth now has legitimacy. They can spread their integration across the galaxy legally. What can we do? Asked the Helix commander. They won the vote. They're now full council members. We can prepare, Rethix said darkly. Earth may have won today, but this is far from over. There are species beyond council space. Civilizations that would see integration as the threat it truly is. He was already planning. Already reaching out to extreme factions. Species that would rather see Earth destroyed than allow integration to spread. On the bridge of her flagship, Admiral Boare received a concerning intelligence report. Encrypted communications between several council species and unknown forces in the outer territories. They're not giving up, Ki-jun observed. Even with the vote, some species will continue to see us as a threat. Let them, Boare replied calmly. We've proven we can defend ourselves. And every species that attacks us gets the same offer. Join us or face those who did. That offer won't work forever, Admiral. Eventually, someone will develop a weapon that can't be integrated. Some way to kill us without giving us the chance to merge. Boare nodded slowly. This was the fear that kept General Young-Soo awake at night. Integration was powerful, but not invincible. A determined enough enemy, willing to use weapons of mass destruction, could still destroy Earth. Then, we make sure the cost of attacking Earth is too high, Boare said. We spread integration to willing species. We build alliances based on mutual transformation. We make Earth too important, too connected, too valuable to the galaxy to destroy. Professor Nari addressed the Council's Science Committee later that week. She presented research that made even the skeptics pause. Integrated beings show increased lifespan, Nari explained, showing medical data. The merger of two species' biological systems creates redundancies that slow aging. We project that integrated humans draconians may live twice as long as pure humans. You're creating immortals, asked a shocked mantoid scientist. Not immortals. Just longer-lived beings. But, more importantly, integrated consciousness shows enhanced creativity. Problem-solving abilities increase by an average of 40%. Pattern recognition improves by 60%. The two species' ways of thinking complement each other perfectly. The implications were staggering. Integration wasn't just about military strength. It was about creating beings who were fundamentally better at being alive. In the years that followed Earth's admission to the Council, 27 species formally requested access to the integration protocol. Not for military purposes, but for evolution. For advancement. For becoming more than they were. Earth carefully vetted each request. Some were approved. Others denied. The protocol required willing participants on both sides. It couldn't be forced or rushed. Admiral Boare found herself commanding a fleet where draconians, mantoids, helix, and humans all worked together. Some were integrated. Others chose to remain pure. But, all were united in defending the new galactic order. It's strange, Ki-jun said one day. 5 years ago, we were preparing to fight the Draconians. Now I am one. Well, partially one. It's hard to explain. You're both, Boare replied. That's the point. You're not Draconian or human. You're what comes next. Commander Donghyun visited his family in Seoul. His wife had chosen not to integrate, wanting to remain purely human. Their children were fascinated by their father's transformation. Does it hurt? His daughter asked, touching his scaled arm. No, sweetie. It feels natural. Like this is how I was always meant to be. Will I become like you someday? Donghyun knelt down to her level. Only if you choose to. Integration is always a choice. Some people choose it. Others prefer to stay as they are. Both choices are valid. His daughter thought about this seriously. I think I'll wait until I'm older to decide. That's very wise, Donghyun said, smiling with his draconian face. Take all the time you need. General Young-soo stood before the United Earth Assembly, giving his final report before retirement. He was 70 years old now, tired but satisfied. When the Draconians came, we faced extinction, Young-soo said. We developed integration out of desperation. But, it became something more. It became a path to unity that the galaxy had never considered. Some call you the father of integration, said the Assembly President. Young-soo shook his head. I'm not a father. I'm just a soldier who chose transformation over destruction. The real heroes are the volunteers. The humans who gave up their pure bodies. The Draconians who gave up their pure culture. Together, they became something beautiful. Counselor Jin-ho, now an elder statesman, watched the assembly meeting with satisfaction. Earth had come so far in just 5 years. From primitive planet to galactic power. From isolated world to bridge between species. We did it, Jin-ho's assistant said quietly. We actually changed the galaxy. No, Jin-ho replied. We showed the galaxy how to change itself. The real work is just beginning. In the outer territories, unknown to Earth, a massive fleet gathered. Species that rejected integration. Civilizations that saw Earth's transformation as an abomination. They were planning something terrible. Something that would test whether integration could truly survive existential threat. But, that was a problem for another day. For now, on Earth and, across integrated colonies throughout Council space, beings of merged consciousness worked together. Built together. Lived together. Draconian strength with human creativity. Mantoid logic with human intuition. Helix discipline with human compassion. They were the future. The next step in galactic evolution. Not conquest. Not assimilation. But, voluntary transformation. Species choosing to become more than they were by joining with others. Admiral Boare stood on the observation deck of her flagship, watching Earth rotate slowly below. The planet that had started all this. The world that had asked a simple question, what if we became one? Beautiful, isn't it? Ki-Jun said, joining her. Yes, Boare agreed. And, to think, 5 years ago the Draconians came here to conquer this world. Now their descendants protect it. Now we are it. Do you think the galaxy will truly accept integration? Or will there always be species that resist? Boare thought carefully before answering. There will always be resistance. Change is frightening. But, I believe the future belongs to those willing to evolve. To merge. To become something new. She looked at her reflection in the window. Draconian scales and, strength. Human thoughts and, dreams. Two species that had been enemies, now united in one consciousness. The Draconian Armada vanished on Earth, Boare said quietly. The Galactic Council ignored our warnings. But, they learned the truth. They learned that humanity doesn't conquer. Ki-Jun finished the thought. We integrate. And, integration is forever. Far below, on Earth's surface, a new class of integrated soldiers graduated from training. 50 species represented. 100 different worlds. All choosing transformation over isolation. The galaxy would never be the same. And, Earth, the primitive world that had faced extinction, had become the center of the greatest revolution in galactic history. Not through weapons. Not through conquest. But, through the simple, radical act of asking, will you join us? And, in asking that question, humanity had proven what made them truly unique in the galaxy. Not technology. Not weapons. Not even the integration protocol itself. It was the willingness to change. To adapt. To embrace former enemies and, make them family. That was humanity's gift to the stars. That was Earth's legacy. The Draconian Armada hadn't vanished. It had evolved. And, in doing so, it had shown the galaxy what was possible when species chose unity over division. The future had arrived. And, it was more beautiful than anyone had imagined.